What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. This is a recap of what went down on this week's episode of Kail's Coffee Convos podcast. So the big soundbite from the podcast is that she said that she feels as though she's got this sort of unspoken loyalty to Javi. But I really want to challenge it because, there are a lot of contradictions going on there in that story. She also shared a little bit of information about what she's kind of looking for going forward in her dating life, but we'll get to that later on in the video. Let's start off with Kail claiming on her podcast that she's got some sort of unspoken loyalty to Javi. Mind you, this is the first time that she's really publicly spoken about him from an emotional perspective ever since she exposed him on Teen Mom 2 for allegedly cheating on his baby mama Lauren for the millionth time, trying to get into her panties at the Wawa gas station parking lot. I don't think it's any kind of a coincidence that now that Javi and Lauren are broken up, Kail is trying to put out these sorts of messages there. To me, it's kind of like her letting him know, listen, you could text me, we could meet up in the parking lot anytime, any place. Now that you guys are broken up, her situation with Chris, of course, is over and done with for the millionth time. So she probably is looking for a booty call, and this is how she's doing it. I've been recapping her podcast for a while, and she's never really spoken positively of Javi until his relationship with Lauren really blew up. Then she started talking about how, exchanging the kids is easy, the schedule with him is easy, and now here she is upping the ante and talking about how she'll always have this unspoken loyalty to him. You ain't slick, Kail. I see right through your game. When it came to explaining what she meant by this statement, Kail claims that, listen, when I say that I have an unspoken loyalty to him, didn't you see the way I let him drag my name through the mud? I've never defended myself, anything like that at all. Here's one of those things where I'm like, what are you talking about? He accused you of cheating on him. Then you later admitted to cheating on him, I believe with more than one person. So in my opinion, you allowing him to tell people the truth of what happened is not you letting him drag your name through the mud. It's you sitting there and eating your food while your bad behavior is publicized, which is something that he has every right to do because, he was hurt and you guys made a commitment to one another. That is not to say that Javi was not without fault in their marriage. In fact, Javi actually was cheating on Kail as well, which also came out on the Marriage Boot Camp television show. So maybe that is what she meant without wanting to publicly readmit that she was cheating on her husband. You know what I mean? She probably could have just said, I let him accuse me of cheating while he was also cheating on me. I never really broadcasted my own hurt over his actions, but for some reason she kind of left it a little bit more vague there. Kail says that one of the major reasons why she allowed Javi to, run with his own narrative was because of the nature of her messy split with Joe Rivera. Remember, they were fighting very publicly on Teen Mom 2 and stuff like that. And, she thought about how they were once in that really dark place together, and now here they are where they're very friendly, very open. She's friends with his wife and everything. She said, listen, I always felt like we would kind of end up in this place. She was implying it in that way. So that is a major reason why I didn't want things to go too dark. But then that brings up the question, which is, well, why is she not that way with Chris Lopez? Every time they break up, they're not dating, but every time they break up, she is on the internet talking very poorly about him. She is selling stories to the press about him and his fatherhood and everything, which is very low. I'm very curious about that. There are just so many contradictions and holes in the things that Kail says that I just have to kind of shake my head sometimes. It honestly seems like she speaks for the hell of it. I think that the most believable reasoning that she gave was when she continued on to say, listen, people can't be convinced. At the time, he had a really strong reputation, a good reputation within the Teen Mom fandom. So I just knew that people who believed him were going to continue to believe him, and that was that. People who believe me were going to continue to believe me. And I felt what? Honestly, I think that that's probably the best and most straightforward answer that she could have given. Yeah, sometimes people are so passionately diehard fans of one person that they can do no wrong, And so she definitely, in my opinion, could have just left it at that. She also mentioned that the truth did eventually come out, which is very much true. But again, she heavily implied it as if to say it eventually came out that Javi was cheating, but sis, it eventually came out that you were cheating too. You both were a mess in this marriage. By the way, she was specifically referencing the lie detector test that they had to take on Marriage Boot Camp. Remember, Javi was really trying to avoid taking that test. He threw a huge bitch fit about it, and the experts had to actually talk to him and say, listen, Javi, Like, you've got to take this test. You guys need to be open with each other and honest if you want to move forward in your relationship. And so when he took the test, he claimed that he didn't cheat on Kail, but the lie detector test determined that was a lie. As for where Kail's dating life currently stands, she says that she is not at all interested in dating a man with kids. I'm really curious to know what you guys think about this. You already know where I stand as a young woman with no kids. If a man, you know, around my age with like 4 kids, especially by 3 different women, wanted to go out on a date, I wouldn't take him up on it. So like, I get that why she would want this, because listen, she's got her own like miniature school bus route when it comes to divvying up the kids with the dads and stuff. Holidays are already complicated enough as it is. So I totally get why she would not want to date with a man with kids. But on the other hand, I don't really see that many men wanting to involve themselves in this situation. It really is quite messy, especially because the kids are still quite young. Of course it's possible, but I do think that it is going to be quite hard for her. And then as they're wrapping up the podcast, she and Lindsay joke about how fertile she is, which is a far cry from her excuse when she was pregnant with Lux. Remember, when she got pregnant with Lux, she claimed that it was a planned pregnancy, but earlier on in the podcast, she actually admits that she and Chris were friends with benefits. She admits they weren't dating in the podcast, y'all. She says they were friends with benefits who happened to have gotten pregnant. And, you know, going back to what she was claiming when she initially got pregnant with Lux, she was like, you know what, he was planned. My doctor told me that I was going to become barren by like 27, 28 years old. So I had to hurry up and have my last baby. So I decided to have it with my friend. I personally think that Kail should publicly apologize for that. You know, there are millions of women going through serious infertility who, you know, may have connected with that kind of a story that Kail was peddling. And even if they didn't, I feel as though she kind of made a mockery of infertility issues that women struggle with when she came up with that load of BS as an excuse for being sexually irresponsible. Like, it really does disturb me that she went that far to craft such a dumb lie, you know, to get out of taking responsibility for the things that she was doing in her private life. Like, I don't think it's right. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of like people who go, oh, like, you know what, I feel like I've got this disease, and they don't, and then they get all the sympathy and the pity and stuff, and it's just, ugh, it's gross. It's gross. I personally don't like it. You know what, you guys, I actually have a question for you to wrap up this video. I really do have a question for you. Which lie is the dumber, more unbelievable lie? I never fell for Kail's BS about, like, you know, for her infertility or whatever. And I also never fell for Farrah Abraham from Teen Mom OG claiming that her adult videotape was accidentally leaked and that she was in a relationship with James Dean, or she hired him so that they could make a video so she could celebrate her body. Like, both of those lies were absolutely out of this world stupid and unbelievable. So I'm really curious to know which one you guys think is the more iconic teen mom lie, Kail's or Farrah's. Make sure to let me know in the comment section down below, as well as what you thought about her, you know, talking about her quote unquote unspoken loyalty to Javi. Do you think that that is a bird call for him to slide on through to the parking lot so he could hit it again? Make sure to let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.